I'm sending this one to you. This one, obviously.
My name is Emory M. Jr., and this is Exercise and Movement Technique, and here we are today at Fluid Fitness in New York City with Lisa DelSignore and Carla Rigon. Owner of Fluid Fitness, master trainer, gyrotonic, gyrokinesis, dancers. I'm putting the dancer in there. So thank you for doing this. I wanted to do this for a long time. How long have you guys been teaching?
Ooh, since 2000 for me.
1999, so about 2000 is not roughly.
Maybe before that? Weren't you dancing? Or
Oh yeah, I've been doing the work for 25 years.
were you teaching or just dancing?
Dancing
Yeah.
and clients in the system.
Dancing and doing for myself.
Right.
What brought you to gyrotonic, gyrokinesis, the gyro world?
Back injury.
Back into
Yeah.
same thing.
Okay.
I was dropped during one of my first jobs in a modern company, and somebody dropped me and herniated 2 discs.
Oh, how's that going now?
I mean, it rears its ugly head when I'm overtired or overstressed.
But you're managing it with the art.
Since I started this, it completely healed me because it strengthened everything along the spine, so it keeps everything in
Sure.
place in the space between the vertebra, which is
Yeah.
the principle of the entire system, basically.
That was my next question.
For me, it was going a little slow, and then of course, especially in Graham technique, which is very hard in the back.
Right.
A
lot of contraction.
And all that. Then my back just said enough, and I went through physical therapy, 2 different kinds for about 2 years, and then I kept hearing about different techniques and gyrotonic, which that time was actually known as white cloud.
That's right. White cloud.
And I figured, let's give a try, and I got there. And after 1 year, I just didn't have back pain anymore. And just like Lisa said, of course, sometimes it come back, but I only need my 45 minutes or half an hour in a floor, and I could do my work, and it was done. So I knew how to fix myself, and that was great.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't know what gyrotonic is, gyrokinesis. As you said, when I came to it was white cloud yoga. Could you give a brief explanation as what gyrotonic is exactly as a technique? Because a lot of people ask me all the time, well, what's the difference between that and Pilates? Because they see the machines,
Right.
and they link the 2 of them together.
Sort of a simplified differentiation is Pilates tends to be mostly linear
Sure.
and mostly contractive,
Mm-hmm.
and gyrotonic is mostly circular and mostly or all expansive. It's always expansive. It's never in
Yeah.
contraction. So even when there's a curl, in the curl there is extension.
Right.
So its main principle is space between the joints, space between the vertebra, strength in extension, which
Okay.
is unique because most systems can bring you strength in compression.
Yeah.
Fluidity, moving the whole body all the time. Things are not separated into this is an arm exercise or a leg exercise. They
Right.
might focus more on that, but it's always whole body. So
Right.
that brings it closer to yoga and dance, where you're using the whole body all the time, using the breath.
Movement
using-
systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see, I totally agree with everything you said, and I also see a little bit as a rebalancing the body,
Okay.
Yeah.
because in order to get everything going, we know that your body will find a way to work, right? Doesn't
Sure.
matter any big injury you have,
Right.
your body
Compensate.
will compensate, and
Right.
you will go all crippled, but you will go with stuff, right?
Yeah.
So somehow we need to rebalance, like you need to release where it's very tight and
Sure.
doesn't work properly, but you need to make you strong so you can keep it, that new posture, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't help if you go fix that and you're still the same. You'll go out and
Right.
you go back. Your muscles will pull you all back to whatever you were.
Repadding.
So exactly, we need to rebalance everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the strengthening one is weak.
Well,
and
you're
releasing one.
neurologically, or you're addressing the neurological pathways essentially that are bad pathways. I call them negative pathways versus positive pathways. You have a pathway that if you keep doing that, it's going to have pathology kind of built in. It's just a matter of, your genetic potential, how tough you are, and how many you do, or how much force you have on you. Force and speed generally exacerbate things, make things happen really fast. So if you're doing things slower, generally you can get away with it longer.
Right.
Not necessarily good, but at least you can
Last a little
maybe
longer.
last a little bit longer, depending on who you are. Some people are just tough, and they finally fall apart. It's just like, way down the line, but when it happens, it's just like, well, okay.
That's the other good thing about the system too. You don't have to work in symmetry because generally there's an asymmetry in the body.
Okay.
So you can make that one handle longer, especially like in cases of scoliosis. It's really great because you can sort of even out the body, even though the body itself is not even. You can make one handle stronger than the other. You can make more weight on one side than the other. So you don't have to work in symmetry because chances are you are not in symmetry.
Right.
So if you continue to work in symmetry, the pattern doesn't change.
True. Well, you have to be an enlightened practitioner to pull that off too.
This is true. You have to have a good eye and see where the energy is stopping or see where the musculature is not working. So,
Well, another thing of Gyrotonic that I think is very good is that you can work a client, let's say an old person who never did absolutely any exercise in his entire life,
Okay.
and you can work a top athlete or
dancer.
a professional dancer.
It's completely adaptable.
You can exactly adapt to any other person. Of course, it's going to be different exercises, different
Sure.
level, right? But the principles are going to be all the same, and it works. That's
Well, you're
the best
accessing
thing
a
about it.
progression. I mean, that's the difference in the system. You have progression. You have,
Yes.
start, middle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, one of the reasons I do this is to inform people about exercise and movement techniques that they may not actually know about, because of commercial fitness, they have a lot of resources to get their word out there. And one of the things I do see missing is the concept of progression and the concept that there's actually something to learn, as opposed to, let's make this big, let's make this big, let's reduce weight here. There doesn't seem to be an educational plan. And so for me, I don't, after 6 weeks, which is generally the time in which your body changes, there's nothing there to keep the mind interested. What feeds the mind? With this work, I find that it feeds the mind. You have to learn it, and that's a good thing, because I know you guys have been doing it a long time. I've been doing aspects of it very, very long time, and it reveals more and more about human movement. So, do you have any tips for people when they're approaching their own exercise regimen in terms of the do's and don'ts and the general form? I know you guys are doing gyro, but I think the principles are kind of universal. People out there looking for teachers. There's to me, there's a whole body of people out there who are trying to find people to help them. Therapeutically, I think exercise has gotten a good and a bad name. Some people have really found amazing practitioners who can help them to do amazing things. A lot of people avoided surgery and injuries that would have crippled them. And then you have the other half, which is destroying people, breaking them down. I mean, I've cleaned up a lot of messes, and I'm sure you have too.
Well, I think one thing to consider is there's no shortcut, okay? There's no magic pill. It's work,
Right.
okay? It doesn't mean that you have to work really hard, many hours strenuously. That's not what I mean. You have to work properly, okay? It's simple, and I'm sure we all have many examples of clients that made a difference in their lives.
Sure.
Doing 1 hour a week.
That's right.
Consider like how much time is 1 hour of your entire week to do proper exercise. It's really nothing.
That's true.
And after a few weeks they say, you know what? My neck doesn't hurt anymore. For me, that's great. You accomplished already something very important, you know? They are pain-free. So things like that, the goal, and I think gyrotonic is great for that, it's not to get that leg really high, no, but it's working properly, releasing, creating space, and then that leg is gonna go higher,
Sure.
just as a result. You know, so it's a way of how you see things, how you work yourself. You know, and of course a lot of people don't know that. So it's up to the teacher to guide them.
Yes.
And if it's a good teacher, like they take that information, they apply it to the other
Yeah.
things that they do in their life. So people may come here once a week, but it's not all they do.
Right.
But if they get informed here, then they can go make their tennis game better or their golf or whatever they can apply it because the principles are just good body mechanics. It's
Understood.
not specific to gyrotonic. The other thing though I find is people, when they work on their own, they check out. They like read or plug into the headphones. And not that music is necessarily a bad thing, but like they're just trying to distract their mind because it's like a chore.
Sure.
But if you distract your mind and you don't go into your body, your body's not changing. Because we've all seen people who go to the gym, 3 times a week, and they look exactly the same. If you're not checking in, then nothing's changing. And 2, if you do check in, you can feel when you're doing something improperly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that hip doesn't feel so good, that shoulder doesn't feel, and then maybe you'll change it. But if you're so distracted and you're just going, I'm going to do 10 of these and 15 of these, and nothing is ever going to change. So check in.
And that's one thing we encourage. You know, I always say, after a while, if the client has been coming here for years and they go and do any other activity, I say, trust your body. By now, you know, if it doesn't feel good, something is not right. You know, you have to trust. There is a natural knowledge that comes with that proper workout. And then you can apply wherever you go. And they know, they understand that. They change.
I agree. Hold that phone.
Which feels like that floor so could get this.